My 25M girlfriend of 6 months 24F is trans. How do I react to this?
Hey all. So this morning I found out my girlfriend of half a year is transgender. She didn't tell me, I figured it out myself when we were at the gym, and now IDK what to do.
When she tells me, do I tell her I know?
I don't want her to feel uncomfortable or think it's obvious, because it's not. I only realized it because of how much attention I paid to her. I doubt anyone else would ever imagine it. And I also don't want her to think I am a creep for noticing either, you know?
Or should I just play dumb?
IDK what to even say then?
That's cool, lovely, pass the pretzels?
Or do I go ahead and tell her I figured it out so she doesn't have to stress about it?
Again, I don't want her to be uncomfortable.
I want her to tell me important things because she trusts me and wants me to know them, not because she feels like she has to. I just really want her to feel safe and comfortable with me, and now I'm tripping over how to do that. I've never dated a trans woman before, please help me. I'm surprised that it has not come up in 6 months of dating. You guys never did anything remotely sexual, discussed birth control, periods, or anything. Are you 100% sure she is a trans woman?
In any case, if she has not felt ready to talk about it, I'd advise you to keep loving her just the same, and make sure she knows that. So one day, when she is ready, you can tell her you already knew and that she is the most amazing woman. Based on the comments you're already getting, this might get some better responses in r, ask transgender, or r, my partner is trans.
Edit.
You'll probably get answers ranging between, let her tell you on her own, and, approach her gently.
Both are fine in my mind, just make it very clear that this doesn't change the way you feel about her, if that's the case. This reads like creative writing exercise. I don't believe this story. If it's not something that's going to bother you in terms of continuing the relationship, just leave it and she'll tell you when she's comfortable. I don't believe this post is real.
I, 37F, found out my husband, 38M, has a girlfriend and 2 kids. What should I do? I've been married to my husband for 12 years.
I never had a reason to think he was cheating, and we have a good relationship. He earns a good salary and I stay home. He goes out of town for up to 2 weeks at a time, and I never considered he might be lying. 3 days ago he was taking a nap and I heard him get a Facebook notification on his laptop. I decided to be nosy, and it was his girlfriend. I needed to see more of his conversation, so I unlocked his phone with his sleeping face and left with it, and it was clear they were sleeping together, and she told him her son wanted to see his daddy, and my husband responded that he'll be there today. I thought he was going on a business trip this week, and now I realize some of those trips were him going to see this woman. I went on her Facebook profile and they aren't friends.
After some snooping, I realized he has a second account under another name that I wasn't aware of.
There are pictures from as far back as 5 years ago of her with my husband. She has 2 young children that I know from what I saw in their conversation are his. I've been struggling with fertility for over 10 years, and we have been unable to conceive even with IVF.
We talked about adoption a few years ago, and even though my husband said he always wanted a big family, he didn't want to adopt.
Now I blame myself for failing him and making him turn to another woman to have kids. He hasn't left me, so I know he still loves me, or he would have left me for her and their kids. I'm considering telling him I know about his family and working it out if he agrees to stop seeing her, but on the other hand, I don't think I'll ever trust him after this. I think my fear of being alone is a big factor in me considering reconciliation. My husband always treated me well, and I had no reason to think he was cheating. He'll be back in 4 days, and I'm not sure what I'll do.
Edit. We're devout Hindus, and I don't believe in divorce, but I don't if moving forward is possible.
Edit 2. We live in Turkey, but neither of us are Turkish, and I have no support system here outside of my husband. I am disabled since an accident and have not worked in years.
My husband is wealthy, so me not working has never of issue. Keeping a secret family is not how normal men show love. You did not fail him. He didn't cheat because you couldn't get pregnant.
He cheated because he's a cheater. You didn't create that, and you can't fix it.
It's all him.
Sorry, what do you mean? What do I do?
Why would you want to be with someone who has been cheating for 5+ years?
He has an entire life away from you, so he is obviously not the person you think he is. I don't think you know him at all, as it seems he is living 2 separate lives. If you try to reconcile, he will likely continue this second life, especially because there are kids involved, so you have to decide if you're okay with sharing your husband. He has children with her. He will never agree to not see her. She's permanently part of his life now. It's also not your fault he cheated.
That's his fault all on his own.
He decided to do that.
We're devout Hindus and I don't believe in divorce. At your wedding, did you walk Saptapadi together? Did he not vow in the first Pradakshina to take care of you and in the last to be honest and trustworthy with you? If he has broken these vows to you, then he did not sincerely vow in the sixth Pradakshina to always be with you.
As such, you should not be obligated to uphold your vow to always be with him.
Many Hindus have gotten divorced. You should not let your faith hold you back from doing what's right for you. If you're worried about what your community will think, you can be confident that all of the people who are worth being in community with will see his adultery as much worse than your divorce. My F25 boyfriend, M25, is angry about my period.
How does a sane person handle this? Backstory.
I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years.
We've always had a lot of sex, and that was one thing I know he's liked about our relationship. I was on birth control pills for a good portion of our relationship and then got off because of mental health reasons.
After a year I got back on birth control but got an IUD. Reason being because taking Plan Bs would mess me up and condoms dried me up.
The issue. Prior to getting the IUD, he kept asking me when I would get it. I told him some of the side effects and that my body would take time to get adjusted.
Him being him didn't take me seriously and forgot everything I said.
I finally got it and dealt with cramping and spotting for 2 months. He began to get angry with me because I wouldn't engage in any form of sex with him. I'd like to add that the cramping from this was the worst I'd ever experienced in my life, so I wasn't thinking about sex. He began to get attitudes with me and express how he wasn't happy.
The IUD has also made my periods longer, like 2 weeks.
It used to be 4 or 5 days. He feels like that's an issue, although I told him that my body is still adjusting and my periods are beginning to be a bit shorter.
He now wants me to take out the IUD because he feels like we don't have enough sex. I expressed that I'm tired of putting my body through stuff, and since he's the one that has the issue, that he should get a vasectomy, which can actually be reversed.
He got angry with me. I don't think he understands the severity of what I've been going through mentally and physically. I almost passed out in the doctor after getting the IUD.
Longer periods, bad cramps, declining mental health. I've even told him I thought about unliving myself, but he told me to do what I think is best in regards to taking out the IUD.
But in contrast, he wants to have more sex and I have to take it out for him? I'd think me being unalive would get a more serious response from him.
He doesn't even realize that even if I take it out, my body is going to have to adjust again. It sucks. We were on the phone yesterday and he gets angry because he realized that once my period ends I'll be leaving to go on vacation for a week. I don't think he realizes that I'm not just an object, and even though we made the decision together for the IUD, he can't just dictate my body. Anytime my period starts, my mind instantly goes to him and how he might feel. IDK, what to do anymore?
Edit. Okay, so I edited the post. For clarification, he said do what's best in regard to taking out the IUD when I said I was having those bad thoughts. Also, thanks to anybody who's told me more info about the vasectomy. I appreciate it.
You told him you were suicidal and he said to do what you think is best?
Honey, please.
You deserve better than this.
You keep saying he doesn't realize.
He doesn't care.
He literally doesn't care. He wants the outcome that gives him the most sex, regardless of that means for you. You found a dud.
Respect yourself and leave this man. Run for the hills, because if he doesn't respect you and your body, especially with the time of the month, then it will be a very tough relationship. A sane person doesn't handle that. A sane person just leaves to stay sane.
I want to die. Yeah, but ma dick. Honey, no.
A sane person would realize that this person is inhumane and abusive.
A sane person would walk away. Splitting of chores, finances and childcare with my M36 wife, F36.
What is fair? My wife is a stay-at-home mom who looks after our 1.5-year-old child and runs a small business making wedding robes.
I have a full-time job, mostly working at the office, though I occasionally work from home and sometimes come home early. For household chores, my wife handles most of the daily chores including cooking and laundry. I help with tasks like vacuuming, bathroom cleaning, and we both take care of the garden. I also clean the kitchen from time to time. Additionally, we have someone come in once a week to help with cleaning and looking after our child. I cover all our expenses, including bills, rent, insurance, etc., as my wife's business currently generates very little income. I manage all the finances.
In the mornings, I change our child's first diaper, get his milk, and make coffee. When I get home, I share the responsibility of looking after our child, taking him for walks for about an hour every other day. My wife feels it is unfair that I do not do more chores and help around the house, especially with small tasks like picking up toys and folding clothes. She explains that she spends her entire day looking after our child and any spare moments working on her business, leaving little time for additional chores. I admit that sometimes I don't notice when things need to be done, which is my fault. She feels very stressed out, has almost no patience with me and gets irritated very quickly. Her business also causes her a lot of stress. I am well paid, so there is actually no financial stress. But she says she feels stressed out over finance as she cannot contribute anything and feels like a burden. I feel frustrated because I pay for almost everything, and I see her work as more of a hobby since it doesn't significantly contribute to our family finances. And I feel badly saying it like that as she is committed and works very hard at it, and it pains me that her business does not do better. However, I understand that I might be off base here and am seeking an outside perspective. I honestly feel that I am looking at things from a negative or incorrect perspective, thinking that she should pick up the slack with the chores, and be more thankful as our situation is one to be grateful for in general. How many hours of free time do you each have? What is fair? When you get home from work, you don't add to her chores, tasks, and you do whatever childcare, cooking, cleaning, etc. that needs to be done, without asking. So you can both relax together. Edit. In other words, when you and your wife are both at home and not working, you both do what needs to be done until you can both relax. You are the asshole. I know you didn't ask, but come on. Her work is a hobby? But you fully support and appreciate her hard work and trying for success. Try spending 2 days doing exactly what she does and then see how you feel. Every mess. Every toy. These small humans create so much laundry. What you call little things add up to a great deal of things. She's begging for help. Isn't that enough? I feel for her. She doesn't feel valued as a housewife with her hobby. She wants to be successful enough to draw salary and have status equal to yours in the home. That means she needs time strictly for her work without chores or childcare like a job. If you truly want to be a good spouse, find a way to support her. Step up and take half the in-home work for yourself, put the kids in daycare, something. Without good support, her business will always be small and she will be unhappy. Sit with her and figure out how long until she has to build her business. If she can't make it go, at least she can sew for a company to earn. It's a growing cottage industry. Source. I'm a costume designer with a small business. You mentioned several times how much you are paid. Pay for a sitter 2 days a week. End of discussion. A stay-at-home parent works the equivalent of 2.5 full-time jobs. What is fair is when both of you have the same amount of free time. I.e., if you have 4 hours free every night, you spend 2 hours on household, childcare and 2 hours free. Same for her and same for weekends. If you have more free time than she does, it's not fair.